Are you okay? How has the past 3 months affected you? Are you the same person you once were? Or has your mindset completely changed? Do you look back over the past couple of months and past couple of years and say, I wish I would have done things differently? Do you look to the future and say, I'm prepared? Or do you say, I'm not prepared? Are you scared? Are you scared that you've developed bad habits? Are you scared that you haven't implemented what you wanted to get done? The habits that you know you need to develop. Do you look back over the past few months and say, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have done something different than what I was doing? Or do you look back and say, you know what? I did what needed to get done. These are some of the things I ask myself on a daily basis. When I look in the mirror and I look back at myself, at me, I say, Joel, are you ready? I think these past few months have changed all of us. I think the way we think of society, the way we think of our world, all that has changed. What we once knew to be the normal, that's not normal anymore. That's not the new norm that we're going to confront when the world opens back up. The reality that we live in, that reality is still being changed. And I think a lot of us are waking up. I think a lot of us have determined and realized that what we've done in the past hasn't been what needed to get done to prepare us for the life we're going to be leading now, the life we're going to live now. Now, the thing is, we all have habits, we all have our ways of operating, we all have our, for lack of a better term, our default settings and how we operate. But those default settings, they change, right? They're different, they're not the same. There's something that you need to tweak now. I mean, for me, for example, looking back before these, past 3 months and looking back at how I used to operate, I don't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning anymore. I mean, back then I would get up that early so I can go to the gym, I would work out, come back home, take the kids to school, come back and I would have a few hours of silence so I can get my work done. That's not what's happening now. And who knows how the next few months are gonna go? Who knows if the world is gonna open up the way we used to experience it? I'm not quite sure. But one thing I can tell you is you can and you will get through this. There is a fact. The fact is, no matter what you do today, as long as there's still breath within your lungs, you're gonna see another day. Now, it's how do you experience that day? Are you gonna experience that day with joy, with happiness, with a feeling of success? Or are you gonna be experiencing that day feeling dread, concern, fear? Fear. That's what a lot of us feel right now. A lot of us lost our jobs. A lot of us took pay cuts. A lot of us saw our businesses close down. A lot of us tried to get help from the government, and sadly, not everybody got the help that they needed. People are struggling. We're all struggling. People are trying to see how they can make it through and get to the next step, to the next stage. So you have a choice. And I like to listen to people like Gary Vee, and I like to listen to people like Grant Cardone and a bunch of these other motivational speakers and entrepreneurs that, tell you have to have grit, you have to have determination, you have to have the never give up attitude or personality. You have to be able to take fear and make it your friend. But let me tell you, that's hard. That's hard not knowing what's coming next. But you gotta do it. Gotta do it anyway. You're either gonna face the day prepared for it, or you're gonna confront the day and it's gonna beat you down. Let me tell you, I'd rather confront the day and stand up and know that I'm moving forward as strong as I possibly can. So as a freelancer, as a developer who works from home, what have I done? Looking back, reflecting, and trying to see how I can make micro changes to myself as a coder, as someone who will continue to work from home. And a lot of us will end up working from home. One thing's for sure, I'm not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning anymore, but I still get up early. Instead of going to the gym, I work out at home. I'm grateful that I was able to set up my home office and have my environment that I get to continue to code in privacy, get to close the door, put on my headsets, and just code. It may not be the complete silence that I was typically used to, but you know what? Adapt. We all have to adapt. One thing I've done over the past few months is I've fine-tuned my workflow. I've gone over hundreds of thousands of lines of code, refactored my code, refactored the code for my website, for my clients' websites, for the themes that I sell. I found better ways to implement data structures, improve the data structures and the algorithms I was using. And I hunted for optimizations that I can make within my code to make it perform faster and better and be more efficient. There hasn't been one day over the past few months that I haven't touched a line of code. I've coded every single day. So now how's that going to prepare me for the future? I can tell you the quality of my code has improved significantly, because when you're hunting down any bottlenecks in the performance of your code, when you're going line by line and really documenting and analyzing how you could do things different, it makes you think differently. You see things differently. And sometimes when you're just coding and you're not really focusing on making improvements, but just adding new features, you have a lot of old code that might need to be refactored. And let me tell you, my coding style from even 6 months ago is different from what it is today. So I'm okay, and I hope you're okay. I hope that this past few months have not been so hard on you. I hope that you've taken this time and you learned something new. And I hope you realize that the world is changing. It's not going to be the same. We all have to change with it. Remote learning, remote working, that might be here to stay. So this is my advice to you. Make sure you develop good habits. Make sure you focus on the things that you need to get done. I'm not saying to live a boring life. I'm not saying to only code or only study or only research. You gotta mix it up, but make sure you have a plan and make sure you do everything you can to stick to that plan. That way, when life throws you a curveball, you'll be in a better position to catch it. When the world reopens, you'll be open for business. None of us are perfect. None of us will get it right 100% of the time. But if you do a real self-assessment on the things that you do correctly and the things that you don't do correctly, and you try to optimize the areas that you know you have to improve on, you will get better. You'll be better prepared. It's like looking at an Olympian. They train for their whole entire lives for one moment. And that one moment is all that we often see. What we don't see is the hours and hours and hours and hours a day that a person puts into getting to that moment. And now is the time for us to all level up. So I'll see you on the other side.